Today, we're going to find out where each other's ethical bar actually is. Some of these are legal, some aren't, some are borderline, and some are straight up predatory. All right, John, I'm jumping right in. I'm going right to the deep end, buddy. Let's start with the spicy ones. Number one, OnlyFans. Whether you're creating, whether you're, flashing that beautiful man bod of yours or managing a team, Filipino VAs, catfishing dudes, whatever. Where does OnlyFans fall for you? Is this something you would do or you wouldn't do? I know, just for reference, John was here in the States recently, and we had this conversation a lot in the warehouse. We were going to bet each other $100 each, like who could make $100 first on OnlyFans. So I'm curious, you've had some time to think about it. Would you do OnlyFans?
Yeah, for sure. Yeah.
I would
do it, and I don't have a problem necessarily with other people doing it as well. I know a lot of people will have a moral thing around this, or they think that, doing stuff of that nature is people feel pressured into doing it or that sort of thing. And I just I definitely think it's something you should think about carefully before you do it for a number of reasons, for sure. Absolutely. But for the right person, I don't have any problem whatsoever with it. You do with your body and your life what you want to do. You should be free to do that. Like a lot of people, it's been really great for them. I'm sure there's some people it hasn't been really great from. And you can say that about pretty much any business out there, if I'm honest. For me personally, I don't give a shit what other people think. If I want to do something I find fun and I can make money out of it, I'm probably going to do it.
I think I'm with you on this one. I have no issue with this. I am 100% a libertarian. Do whatever the fuck you want to do. The people who are doing this, that want to do it, good for them. I'm sure there are some scenarios out there that are not, as appealing as we're discussing here. I really don't want to go off that deep end. I really want to talk between me and you of would you do this or would I do this? Absolutely. I told you in the warehouse here, I would crush you on a way to the first $100. I have no issues whatsoever doing this. Someone please, who's watching this, challenge John and I to do that challenge. Who can make $100 first on OnlyFans?
I don't know what I'm doing there exactly, but am I doing it for guys? Am I doing it for girls? And honestly, I don't care. You want to pay me money? I'll probably do it.
I've seen your feet, buddy. You are a shoe-in, no pun intended, for a big earner there. All right, number two, I'll jump right into it. This one probably hits you in a different way. It definitely hit me in a different way. It's magic mushroom sales, right? So maybe people listening to this don't realize this. In America, you can just order this shit to your door. You can get a chocolate bar, measured out nice with mushrooms. There are certainly some brands who are catfishing. They're mimicking good brands. You don't want to buy those, but there are good brands out there that will, they're totally safe. They'll show up at your door. The dose that you're getting, 100% illegal, right? But no one's really stopping them. And so I think we both have our own feelings about magic mushrooms. I'd love to hear yours, or if you want to share it or not. But would you do this? Would you sell a product like this?
Yeah, I would. I mean, if we take the question of am I going to end up in jail for doing it or not out of it, and just the ethics of selling that type of product to another human, yeah, I absolutely would. I've always been, for a very long time, even since before it was cool, again, a big proponent of magic mushrooms, DMT, LSD, in the right scenarios, in the right way, for the right person, all of that sort of stuff for sure, in a safe way. I've used them a lot in my life, and they've had positive outcomes for me in a number of ways, and I know they do for a lot of other people. So being able to facilitate that in a safe way, yeah, absolutely. I don't think they should be illegal, and I don't think it should be illegal to sell them in a safe and responsible manner. That's the way. I mean, that's the way it is in Australia. I think they come down on you even harder here around around magic mushrooms than they do in the US at the moment, if I'm honest. And there are people that sell them online here as well. It's really under the radar, and you're not buying magic mushrooms, but you are, kind of thing. I've certainly ordered them before from people via phone or other methods, but yeah, I have no problem with the concept at all.
It's it's on Signal app or something like that in the United States, but it's not as hard as you think. I'm probably with you again. I'm a libertarian. I genuinely don't understand most rules, and that's going to be in every category, but certainly in things like this, I don't understand. I don't understand why marijuana is illegal. I don't understand why magic mushrooms are illegal. Again, if there was more education around it, it can be profound. It can be one of the most profound experiences of your life, and certainly change you as a human being. The things that it's doing for vets and other people with I'll call it mental trauma, I guess. The things that you're able to work through there are incredible. I have no issue with this. I have no issue with people doing it. For me, I would not be able to throw out the idea that I might go to jail. I think the moment you have kids, your like risk tolerance goes way down, right? Like I grew up in a town where there's Twin City skydive, right? So everybody comes to my little town and they skydive all day. And my whole childhood, I remember seeing people jumping out of planes. I thought it was so cool. In fact, my brother convinced me that's what my dad did for a living. So every day we'd go out and he'd go, "Hey, Dad," and he'd wave at a guy, and they can hear you. So they just scream back and go, "Hey," and he's like, "I told you that's what Dad does every day." Anyway, sorry. But I would have loved to do it, and then I had kids, and I won't do it. Like, there's zero chance I'm going to put my life on the line for that, right? So I think I would have done this pre-kids, selling it. Post-kids, I don't think I would partake on the selling side, but I have no issue with people doing it. All right, last spicy one I got on the top part of the list here is AI female influencers. So basically, you're catfishing men with a super hot chick. You're posting random poses, whatever you want to do. You're posting videos, you're posting photos, you're writing, AI generated text that is sultry, if you will. 100% you're going to be able to exploit men here. Do you have a problem with that? Would you do that?
Well, it goes both ways, right? You can do the same thing for women too.
Okay.
Of course you can.
It feels easier one way than the other.
Are you pretending that it's a real person?
Is that where your bar? Is that
yeah, I think that's
low here?
I think that's my bar. Like, I have no problem with using an AI generated person to do things for men that they pay for if they know it's an AI generated thing. I have a line at lying, like saying I'm one thing but it's really another, and getting people to pay money for the thing that I'm lying that it is. No, I'm out on that. I mean, you can't really legally do it either, but ethically, I don't do it. Like that's.
I got news for you, John. There's a lot on this list that you can't technically legally do, but
no, I know, but no, like if we're talking about ethical boundaries, no, I won't do it. It's just like, I'm sure you've got another one on your list here somewhere, using fake product reviews on your website. I'm sure that's somewhere deep down your list. I don't recommend doing that either, simply because that's not who I am. If you're somebody that lies in your business to customers or to make money, I guarantee you're a fucking liar personally as well. I guarantee it. It's a habit. And you can't, if it's in one part of your life, it's going to be in another. And if you're a liar personally, I wouldn't want to know you. I wouldn't want to know that person. I fucking hate that person. So do I want to be that person? No, I'm out.
I'm starting to see why you like me so much as your business partner, because I literally cannot lie. It's impossible for me to lie. And so I don't think I could do this either unless I told them. I think if you told them, you would still have a giant audience of men who would be thrilled by this, especially if you did a good job of designing said AI with the right proportions for whatever you're into.
Yeah, absolutely. This already exists. There already are AI porn platforms where the actresses or actors or whatever are AI generated. They look perfect, blah, blah, blah. Like, this is going to be a huge thing in the future, but it's going to be knowingly, and I have no problem with that. If a dude wants to part ways with his money without being taken advantage of, it's his money. Whether he can afford it or not, that's his problem as well. I'll take that money, but it's the pretending it's one thing that it's not, that I wouldn't do.
Yeah, we're not here to riff today, but I promise you, the AI girlfriend thing, which is already a thing, is going to turn into AI sex dolls that look exactly like your AI girlfriend, right? And then that's going to turn into robotics and porn
100%.
leads the way on all marketing, right? You know where pop-ups came from? They came from porn. Like most things that we do in marketing today, porn did it first, which is kind of wild to think about, honestly.
Hey, John here for just a sec. You know how we're always breaking down these wild business ideas and road testing opportunities that other podcasts won't touch? Well, we're growing our own business here. This podcast, and we need your help. So here's the deal. If the Low Bar podcast has given you that holy shit I can actually do this moment, or just made your commute less boring, help us out. If you're watching on YouTube, go and hit that subscribe button. If you're listening on Spotify, go to our profile page on Spotify and smash that 5-star button. And if you're listening on Apple Podcasts, hit the review button and leave us a review. It takes you just 30 seconds, costs you nothing, but helps us reach more people who think starting a business is rocket science. which it's not. And it will also give us the momentum we need to do even more fun and crazy business stuff right here for your entertainment. We love to keep it real with you. Now keep it real with us. Let's grow this thing together.
All right, I'll jump to something. I called this category exploiting innocence. I only have one thing in here, and I'd be genuinely curious. Would you use your kids for sales? Picture yourself in a place where you've got to make money. Maybe you don't need to make money. I don't know where you draw this line here, but if you send your kids door to door to sell shit, people are going to buy stuff. They're going to buy it from your children long before they buy it from you, right? Alternatively, you could use your kids for YouTube influencers, right? I don't know why my children enjoy watching other children play with toys. I guess it's probably the same reason I enjoy watching some guy play video games, but there's tons of kid influencers out there today. Would you use your kids for sales in any way?
Yeah.
I did not expect that answer. Yeah. That was very quick.
I would, but let's be honest. Like my middle boy, who's turning 10 this year, he came to me the other day and he was like, I want to make more money. Like, can we talk about some business ideas that maybe I could do? And once again, I was kind of like you. I was like, lemonade stands are stupid. Don't bother with that kind of low-level stuff. Like let's talk about some actual businesses. And one of the things was, all right, one of the easiest ways to make money is to find things that people want to buy and sell it to them. So what do your friends what are your friends into at the moment? Can we go out and find some of those products cheap, buy them, and you can sell them to your friends? And then could you sell that to other kids? How are you going to do that? You're going to get on video, have a little YouTube channel, talk about blah, blah, blah. Like, would I let my kid do that? Sure. Would I start a business with them where we sell stuff for kids and they promote it? Sure. Like, I don't think there's anything unethical about that at all. Obviously, as a parent, you might want to have some protections around that, so they're not getting like random 45-year-old men living in their mother's basement messaging them and, dodgy shit. But am I going to let them go door to door by themselves selling stuff? No. You're
a good human, right?
I have absolutely zero trust from the men of this world. Like zero, no trust. I would not trust my daughters with any other man. Absolutely not.
I love that your brain went immediately to the good part of this. I would love to help my kids start a business. Where I'm asking you genuinely, you're hard up, John. You got to pay your mortgage next month. Are you sending your kids door to door? Are you making them influencers so you can benefit? Right, like a lot of what you describe, which again is where I think both of us come from, is a good place. We want to help our kids become entrepreneurs, right? And I would gladly help them as well. But would you exploit them for your gain?
I would exploit them for joint gain.
Okay.
Not
like
joint gain.
Yeah, I like that, yeah.
So, if there was an opportunity for one of my kids to, and they wanted to make money, like one of my daughters, Calypso, right? She's really good looking. Like, let's be real. For her age, she's super tall. She's got you can see, she could be a model. She's tall, she's slim, beautiful face, lovely hair, all that sort of stuff. Like, she could be one of those teen influencer type girls sort of thing. If she wanted to do that and make money for the family, sure. I got no problems with that. Like, I'm going to make sure that she's making money as well and a good amount of money out of it for herself.
I'm fucking laughing so hard over it. If my 10-year-old wants to make money for the family, I'm going to take it.
You know what I mean? She doesn't have to. It's not like go out and get a job, honey, for fucking $5 an hour and mum and dad are going to take it all to pay the bills. That's not what I'm talking about. Some of these teen channels make millions of dollars a year, millions and millions and millions of dollars a year. All right, you have $1 million, we'll have $1 million. Great.
All right. I don't know if I could do this one. I genuinely don't know if I could do this one. If they wanted to do it, I'm with you on the front half. I think if they wanted to do it, I would support them. I'd show them how to do it. But, I've been watching The Sopranos lately, trying to catch up on old good shows. I don't know if I'm taking Tony's cut. You know what I mean? I'm not sure if I'm getting 10% of the action for one of my kids to be a YouTube influencer.
Yeah, but look, the reality here, the reality of the kid YouTube influencers is that they're not doing it themselves. There is a big team behind them. Somebody's managing that team. Somebody's running it. There are very real costs involved, just like there are if you're doing it as an adult. Like running a massive channel as an adult, there is a big team behind that. You're paying all of those people. So I wouldn't look at it as like I'm just a parent skimming shit off the top and doing nothing. The reality is if one of my kids wanted to do that, I'm probably helping them do it. Is it okay if I make a reasonable, cut of that money in return for doing that? Yeah, I think that's perfectly legitimate. Am I going to say, oh, we're hard up, honey. go and sell, push you out the door, go and sell door to door to complete strangers until we make some money. And I'm going to sit here in my living room, and if you don't come back with money, I'm not letting you back in the house. No, I'm not doing that.
It would work. Just saying. It would work. I'm not saying I would do it either.
Hey,
It would
they'd
work.
probably be able to do it better than I can do it, but like
100%.
no, I'm not doing that. I'm not that level of scumbag.
All right, I'm going to throw a weird one at you. You're in Australia, but you're very aware of the impending civil war that's going to happen here in America, right? The right and the left are bananas over here. I don't partake in any of that stuff personally, but you cannot go on social media without seeing rage bait, and it works. It's inflammatory. It definitely works. You could get ad revenue out of it. I once knew a marketer who created a store literally on each side of the aisle, and one that had like, Trump clothing and all sorts of words and things you would put on mugs around shirts. And on the other side, it was more like blue stuff. And he was just playing both sides. He had no issue with it. Would you do that? Would you create rage bait, content, possibly sell print on demand stuff on the back end of that, live off the revenue? Do you have any issue driving a further wedge into this country for your gain?
No, I have no problems with that at all.
I love it. Dude. I expected you to have an issue with most of these things, and so far you're like, yeah, I don't care. I do it.
No, I wouldn't. Like, once again, I wouldn't do that if it targeted people who were not at a maturity level where they should be able to make the decisions and decide things for themselves. But to me, if you're a human who's picked a political, religious, like whatever standpoint, particularly in a way where you're trying to disadvantage other people, or you're doing it in a way where your extremes like is targeted at other people, as far as I'm concerned, for me, you're fair game. I need to give it right back to you. So people on the extremes of politics, for example, their position, and they take that position purposefully to put other people down. If you're one of those people, one, science also shows you probably have lower than average intelligence. And I'm sorry, that's very easy to prove. If you're one of those people, I don't care if you're on the left or the right, you're extreme, you're probably an idiot, and I will take your money.
But you would do so by
I don't care.
by
You've
being
made yourself a
inflammatory,
target
right?
by being one of those idiots. You made that choice to put yourself there. You don't have to be there. If you make that choice, you live with your choices and you live with the consequences. And one of those is, if I can find a way to take your money, I will. Legally.
I think my only issue
legally,
is like
you're
being you're being pro-inflammatory about it, right? Like you're putting some obscene phrase on a shirt that they're preaching in the streets, right? And like I don't agree with it, but like I'm willing to put it on a shirt and be inflammatory, help them make people more aware of how insane they are. I don't know. That's where I would question that one personally. It'd be easy. I'll tell you that. It'd be very easy to market to these people.
I don't mind. Like I would take their money and funnel it back to the other side some way. I'm probably not going to go and do that either. I mean, it's not on top of my list of businesses I'm going to go and run because there's plenty of other great options out there. But do I have a problem with it? No.
Well, look, I don't think, to be fair, anything on this list I'm not doing. I don't think you're probably doing it either. No. But like, I think it's nice to hear people's real opinion, right? Like you've already been nuanced enough through these answers where people are going to be like, oh, John's a good guy. I would relate it to Joe Rogan. Like there's a whole bunch of people who hate Joe Rogan. They've never listened to him talk for 3 hours. If you listen to him talk for 3 hours, you're going to be like, oh, he's a human. He's nuanced. He has deep thoughts. He's like everyone else, right? And so on the surface, you could ask people these questions we're asking, and you probably get a visceral reaction. Whereas if you just take 2 seconds to listen to the way that you've thought about some of these, it's it's a good way to get to know people. So I'm not doing this stuff either, but look, let's take it down a notch. Let's make it nicer. Would you repackage public info and charge for it, like selling exclusive info that's it's free elsewhere? Which, do we kind of do that already? You can find most information online, right? It's there somewhere.
Yeah. Look, people would say that is what we do. So, I mean, we obviously we sell some courses and things, and some of that information that we've talked about. Like, so if you looked at one of our courses, let's say, and you listened to some of the things that we've put out for free on the Dropship podcast, you would say, well, you talked about some of that. Like, that's the same stuff, right? It's free on one hand, whereas people have also paid for that. But are they just paying for the information? And the answer is no. And so a lot of information that is sold in courses is available for free somewhere in the deep, dark recesses of the internet. YouTube, there's a bit of it here. And then in another video, there's a bit of it here. And I think there's a right way and a wrong way to do it. Simply just taking, like, if you are like just literally grabbing free content and putting it together and then selling it to somebody, that'd be a no. But like if you're selling, and this is what the great courses do, and there genuinely are great courses out there, and there are some that are not so great, right? But like the genuinely great courses, they're putting that information together in a logical progression which you can't generally find it aggregated together. Like most free content is out there hidden amongst 10 tons of shit content, right? And you've got to sift through the shit to find the good stuff. Whereas a course, what you're paying for is somebody's put all the good stuff together in the way it's supposed to be put together, and then they're going to support you use that information. You're probably going to get some community element that they manage and curate. You're going to get other stuff as well as the information, really. And so what you're really paying for in a course is not just the information. That's the mistake people make about courses. It's true of some courses that you pay for it and all you get is this little bundle of information. You're like, really? That's it? Like, I feel a bit ripped off for sure. And I wouldn't do that personally, but like it can be so much more than that, including information that might be available somewhere for free on the internet. And I'm all for that. And that's what we do it with our e-commerce and dropshipping stuff is, yes, we give people the information, but when they join, they're also actually getting direct access to our combined 2 decades plus of experience, the experience of our coaches, the experience of our successful community members, and all of this other stuff along with the information. And all of that other stuff is what actually helps them take that information and use it in their own circumstance. And so if it's like that, I'm all for it. If it's just like, oh, I ripped off this person's YouTube channel of free content and I'm saying it's mine and I'm selling it, well, no, I wouldn't do that.
Yeah, I have no issue repackaging it the way that you described. I think we've done a good job of that. There are a lot of good courses out there, so I have no issue with that. But I did want to, I want to take it down a notch from some of the crazy ones we were doing. But I have thrown a few in here that I knew you were going to rant on, so that was just one of them. Most nights, my brain won't shut off. I'm lying there chasing new ideas, diving down rabbit holes, thinking through business problems, all of it. I can't turn it off, and honestly, I don't even want to. I fucking love this stuff. But I do need solid sleep if I'm going to show up as the best version of myself for my wife, for my kids, for my business partners, and for me. So every night, I take Kill Switch from Switch Supplements. I've been taking it for years. I take a scoop, I watch a quick YouTube video, and within a half an hour, I'm out. It works every single time. My wife takes it. My employee takes it. We even gave it out at a couple of our live events and everyone loved it. If you're the same way, you can't turn it off, but you still want to win big the next day, go to switchsupplements.com/lowbar and use the code lowbar to get $10 off your first order. That's switchsupplements.com/lowbar and use the code lowbar. Sleep like you're dead. All right, you actually called this one out before. Buying reviews, fake testimonials, like paying for 5 stars, creating fake success stories with AI faces. Certainly in the world we come from, a lot of people have no issue putting reviews on their e-commerce website. Where do you stand on that? I'm genuinely curious because I've done some of this stuff in the past and I'm not sure where I stand on it.
Look, I mean, the thing I will say is it works. I mean, it does work. At least in the short term, it works. And so commonly where people will do it is in the beginning of their business to give themselves try and give themselves a quick leg up when they don't have the ability to generate their own genuine reviews or whatever it might be. And so like I get that. I really get the pain point that people are coming from there because I've been there. Start of a new business, e-commerce business, like whatever type of business it is really. And so I get it, but I don't like it, no. I guess the bit I'm okay with is if you scraped some genuine reviews of a product only that don't mention the business or anything like that. Like let's say you were selling a product that was also on Amazon. Could you go and grab some of the content from the Amazon product reviews and display that on your own site? I think I'm okay with that because there's no lie in that. You're selling exactly the same product from exactly the same brand or manufacturer or whatever, and the reviews are just about the product. Oh, I love this product because blah, blah. Well, that's still true, even if you're selling it. There is nothing in that. And so Google does this, for example. Google Shopping sometimes, they will grab reviews from different sites and put them on the same, on an ad listing from multiple sellers. And so it looks like that review is associated with your business when it's not necessarily from your business. So this is not really an uncommon practice. So I think I'm okay with that. Paying for like fake video reviews and AI video reviews and things like this, once again, you can do it. I don't like to do it. And it goes back to that thing around just telling the truth as an ongoing life thing for me. You know what I mean? Like, I think if you build a business around fake stuff, you're kind of missing some of the opportunity of building a business. Like, yes, it's a shortcut. Are shortcuts necessarily good in the long term? That's what you have to think about. And yes, it can help, but do you have to do it? Is it necessary? No. Usually people feel the need to do this from a place of fake urgency. As in they're like, oh, I've got to make money in the next 2 months or it's going to be a failure, blah, blah, blah. And it's just like, you don't have to do it. You just don't have to do it. And anytime you do something fake, there's a chance you'll get caught out. Like, what if you put a bunch of fake AI reviews on your website and somebody creates a tool that can find fake AI reviews? And what if you then get reported to the FTC for having fake product reviews on your website? They have literally fined businesses millions of dollars for having fake reviews on their websites. It's illegal for it's purely illegal in the first place to have fake product reviews to help you sell a business. So there is that question. But ethically, if you build a business around lies, you're a liar. Do you want your life to be based on lies?
I think I discovered this more in the Amazon territory, where like early on, everyone was doing this, right? You call your mom, your sister, your brother, your aunt, your uncle, your friend Jim, and say, hey, can you go buy my product? Make sure you use this keyword, or I would give you a long string URL so it would show that you searched a keyword, right? So I rank for that keyword. And when you're done, leave a review, say that you loved it, leave it 5 stars, right? I certainly did that on some of my Amazon listings that I've been part of. I think I was taught that by the 2 guys who taught me that stuff and partnered with me way back in the day. If you know my story on that stuff, those 2, certainly at least one of them is not who I would like to replicate in life. I think to your point here of like, if you're a liar, you're a liar kind of thing. And so I've done it. I don't think I would do it again. I definitely wouldn't do any of the fake AI testimonial stuff that I've seen going on out there. I think the FTC has already issued a warning on that. Yeah, I don't know. It does work. You're right. I mean, it works. If you are launching a store and you get some reviews on there, you're going to make more sales. If you launch a product on Amazon and you get more reviews on there, you're going to make more sales. People want to see this trust factor. There's a reason that it works. And so I see why people do it, but I'm not doing that one. All right. How about bots? So you want to buy concert tickets, PS5, sneakers, anything that has a drop, right, or a limited supply. You can create a bot nowadays who will hopefully get in line for you, get in front of you, be able to grab one of those and then quickly flip it to someone else. In fact, I saw somebody complaining today on X. We're recording this right before the World Series, and they were like, here's a ticket from 1988 and what it sold for. And nowadays, the face value doesn't mean anything. It's like $10,000 to get into the World Series. And he was complaining that they should put price caps on things. That's a whole nother topic. Don't make me rant about price caps and Marxism or any of that stuff. But like, you can definitely do this. You could do this without a bot. You could just go on there. In fact, I think maybe we'll talk about this whole space someday on a podcast. But would you do it with a bot? Do you have any issue getting a bot to get in line at Walmart, get you a PS5, and then flipping that thing on eBay? During COVID, PS5s were hard to come by, right? My wife sat in a bunch of lines, somehow got me one super early. Thank you, wife. But I could have flipped that right away for double what I got it for. Like, do you have any issue with that?
The pure capitalist in me wants to say no. I have no issue with that because it's just taking advantage of market supply and demand and all of that sort of thing. I mean, I think the problem I had with it is not necessarily so much the bot side of it. It's more the scalping side of it. Like the predatory kind of, oh, well, now there's none of these things left. And so I'm gonna charge you like $3,000 for something you're probably desperate for. Do you know what I mean?
Yep.
That's probably the bit that makes me feel a bit ick. But I can make both sides of that argument as well. Of like, all right, well, if people didn't want to pay it, they just wouldn't. I mean, that's supply and demand, right? People want to pay it, they can pay it. If they've got the money, they should. And the bit that kind of pulls me back on it, like, there are genuinely people out there with problems. Mental health problems that they haven't necessarily had a chance to deal with. And they will spend money that they don't have for things that they don't need. Yes, I could take advantage of that all day long. Should I? No. I'd probably lean on the side of no. Like, I want to say yes, because like if somebody wants to pay something, I should be able to sell it to them for that price. And in some cases, there are circumstances where I think that works out and it's fine for everybody involved. Good deal. Like whatever. The person's happy that bought it. They've got the money. The person who sold it, who used the bot to buy it and whatever, got in line with the bot or whatever, they're happy too. Everyone's happy. That's okay. But like, to me, there's just and maybe it's with some products rather than others, there's just the potential where, you might be putting somebody in a position that they might find themselves in anyway and blah, 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 all of that sort of thing. But I wouldn't feel good about it.
Yeah, I think I would do it, but I wouldn't feel good about it either. Like, there's an ick factor to it. There's like I'm sure somebody's in the background with their AirPods in going, it's not equitable. It's not fair. Yeah. I get it. I'm more of a markets guy. Like, the market's going to determine the price. If I can get in line in front of you, I should be able to resell it. I have no issue with that. So I'm telling you what, John, I'm going to make a whole episode on this one. We'll talk about it in the future, I promise, because this one sounds fun. Yeah. All right, I'll give you another one. I got a baseball in my hand, but imagine I'm throwing you a softball, John. This is something you're going to rant about, I'm sure. Creating artificial scarcity, like only 3 left, and countdown timers that reset every 24 hours, or fake wait lists, or any of that stuff. The artificial scarcity, it used to be everywhere. I would say it's a little less now. What do you think?
No, I don't like it. Once again, I mean, it's selling a lie. And I think as well, you can definitely do this in a genuine way. Like, I mean, stock does run low on products, and there might only be 3 left in the warehouse. And if there is, you should absolutely say that. But like, if there's 10,000 in the warehouse and you're saying there's only 5 left, like, once again, it's a lie, right? And so once again, it's a slippery slope, as is doing anything that's kind of morally or ethically questionable. Once you do it, you're going to do it again, and then you're going to do it again, particularly if you see a good outcome from it. And then those things are going to get bigger that you lie about, and before you know it, you're in some hole where you've lied about something. You get found out. Liars always get found out. That's the thing as well. Like, you know this. You know this from being a kid. You know, you lied about stuff probably when you're a kid, and your parents always fucking know. It's the same. You can tell. Some people like to tell themselves, no, I'm a great liar. I get away with it all the time. You don't really. It's probably just that people aren't calling you out, even though they know you're lying. So I say no. Once again, I think there's also starting to be some legal precedents around this as well. So, and some platforms also have problems with it. So like some stuff starting to come out around like constant discounts. Like Google has a problem with this as well. For example, if you go and you set a new product live on an e-commerce store with a sale price and you've never actually sold the product at full price, Google won't let you say you have a sale price anymore. So I think there's starting to be some stuff around it, around these sort of fake marketing behaviors in a lot of places where it's actually becoming more frowned upon, as it should be. Once again, it works. I'm not going to lie. I mean, like the fake reviews thing, it definitely works on people for sure. But it does go to your credibility with customers as well. You know, particularly if you're like like customers can spot it. You know, if a customer comes to your site every day and there's only ever 3 left, well, it's either going to look like you're never selling it or it's fake. And customers do often visit sites multiple times before they buy. If you've got a recurring business model where you've got consumable products and people are going to keep coming back to your website to buying them, I mean, this stuff starts to lose its effect as well. But not only that, the final thing I'll say about it is it's lazy marketing practices. So having to rely on, if you have to rely on scarcity to sell your products, like if you can't sell them any other way, then you're a shit marketer. You can't sell. Because you shouldn't have to rely on it. Your product should sell itself. So you've either got a shit product that nobody actually wants, although scarcity doesn't tend to work in a situation where they don't like the product, or you're just not actually selling it. You're relying on a lie to sell your product. So I would say stop doing that and actually learn how to sell shit, because you don't need to do it. It's not necessary. End of rant.
There's nothing I like more than throwing you some red meat to get after, buddy. I appreciate that. Look, I did this. My very first store, I had someone help me write JavaScript code where no matter when you landed on the site, the sale would end that day at midnight. Every day you came back. In fact, while you were talking, I pulled up somebody you and I both would love to shit all over publicly. We'll save it maybe for another show. But I'm literally looking at their sales page where it says, for a limited time, get 50% off. Use the code ActionTaker in checkout. Hurry, this offer ends soon. And wouldn't you know it, it ended in 23 hours, 59 minutes, and 59 seconds the moment I landed on the page. And it's been there every fucking time we've been there. FTC has an issue with this. I personally have an issue with this. I did it at the beginning when I was a very dumb beginner marketer. I would not do this again. This is not the way to run a business, in my opinion. And so, yeah, I'm not about that personally. All right, next up, I only threw this one in here because I've seen people argue about this on X. People really get worked up over this one, and I don't know why, if I'm honest with you. I think you're better at explaining things than I am, so I really wanted to hear your explanation. But I've seen Nick Huber talk about this a lot. I think he's got a whole business built around this where they'll help you find overseas labor, and the comments are just loaded with people, shitting on him because of what you pay overseas labor. So the name of this one is just hiring overseas labor at $3 an hour, $5 an hour, $7 an hour, whatever it is. Whatever is right for their country, you can go hire people at that. How do you feel about that?
I'm fine with it. I've been doing it for a long time. for starters. I mean, I've been working with overseas people since my first e-commerce business, which is at the time of recording this, somewhere around 12 years ago. So my answer to this is it's not the number that matters. Like you're looking at, like, let's say I'm paying somebody in the Philippines. Let's say I was paying them $3 an hour. People will look at that and go, well, if that person worked in the United States, you would pay them, I don't know, your minimum wage in the, like, we do this between America and Australia. Your minimum wage is fucking dog shit. Like, no wonder people have 3 jobs. But they say you'd pay them $10 in the US. So how can you justify that? Blah blah blah. It's like, yeah, cool. They don't live in the US. Their house doesn't cost the same that it does here. The food doesn't cost the same. Blah blah. Like there is no context in that. That's like a stupid. If you make that argument, like, you're probably stupid. You're not thinking. Think, right? What's important is, how does $3 an hour compare to the standard in their country, in their economy that they actually reside in? They're not spending any money in the United States. Yes, they might work for a business that's based in the United States or in Australia or in the United Kingdom, but they're not physically there. Like, we're not living in 1959. The internet exists. Like, people can do jobs in different countries and not live in them. And so what I personally do is I will say, what am I thinking of paying this person? What is the market rate in their country? And can I do better than that? So can I give them a better outcome than they would normally get in their country? And this is where doing this kind of, I don't know what you call it, like geographical arbitrage or something, is really powerful, because there is an opportunity often where you can get a great deal for your business on labor, but you can also give somebody in another country a better deal than they would get if they were working locally. So it is possible, like if you have a business based in the US, for example, that you could pay somebody to do work at the same quality in the Philippines, let's say, for a much lower price than you would have to pay somebody locally. For certain tasks, you'll get the same output, or at least very comparable output, but you could pay the person in the Philippines more than what they would normally get if they were getting a job in the Philippines. And so they're going to be better off as well in that scenario. And so you actually have an opportunity to bring them up, at a time when your business might be bootstrapped and you can't afford local labor because you don't have the profit yet and you don't have the money in the bank, but you need to grow your business. And at some point, maybe you do switch that and you have local employees, because for some reason that might make more sense for you. Or you just want to employ people in your country or whatever. But there's a time where this is a win-win scenario, actually. Now, if I was hiring somebody in another country and I was like, well, I'm just going to offer them $1 an hour when they normally would get $3 an hour. And hopefully if I get somebody who's desperate, they'll just take it. Like, no, you're a cunt if you do that, right? But like, I don't see any problem with this. Like, I've literally had employees who are like, I put my kids through university and they're the first member of our family that has gone through university, and I'm able to pay for it because you're paying me more than I've ever made before. And I'm like, holy shit, but I'm paying you way less than I've ever been paid before. But they're like, this changed my life, the salary that you've given me for the last few years. And so, like, if you've got a problem with that, you are functionally an idiot. I'm sorry. There is no argument about that. There can't be.
I have no issue. Shout out Justine. Shout out Clint. Shout out Melva. Shout out Rose. There are so many people that have helped our businesses, and we're helping them. I have no issue with this one. And for the haters out there who are like, how dare you? Sitting there typing that on their iPhone that is made by somebody who makes jack shit in China to put that fucking thing together for you so you can have a $1,000 iPhone instead of a $4,000 one you would buy if it was made here. It doesn't make any sense to me whatsoever. So I'm with you. We treat them really, really well. Can you hire someone for $3 an hour? Sure. They're probably entry level, right? But you can hire someone for more than that, really do well for them, and it's still way under what it would cost to hire somebody at that skill level here in America. So I have no issue with it, but I wanted to hear you explain it. You're very good at explaining things.
No, I love it when some people make these arguments and they're sitting there in their clothes they got from Shein or something like that. It's just like, you fucking idiot.
All right, so I used to work with this guy, shout out Rick. Rick would come with this list of football jerseys, baseball jerseys, whatever you wanted. He had it. And like, you genuinely couldn't tell if these were fake or not. I bought one. I think I bought a Kirby Puckett jersey. I might still have it. I hooked up all my friends. That was one of my first side hustles, if you will. It was like, I know a guy, he was selling for 40. I would sell him for 60, and people had no problem paying 60 because they're, 180 brand new. And so I would make a little bit of money on this too. How do you feel about that? How do you feel about selling knockoff designer goods, gray market, jerseys? Whatever. You can go to dhgate.com and get a pretty decent looking jersey nowadays. They're not quite right, but they're pretty close. China's pretty good at ripping off IP at this point. And so whatever you want to sell, you can find the rip-off version of it if you really look hard enough. Do you have any issue selling that stuff?
This is another one where I could like make the argument in my head and justify it both ways, I think.
Yeah.
For sure. There's two sides to it. There's the customer side. If the customer knows it's not real, fine. I don't have a problem with that. If the customer genuinely thinks it's real, but I'm selling them a fake, I'm not okay with that, because that just goes back to the lying thing again. It's the same moral bar as I've had with a few other things here, so I'm not going to change that, right? But if the customer knows it's knockoff and they just want something that looks like the real thing, but they can't afford the real thing, so they're happy to pay a lower price for the not real thing, and that thing still works, like it's still a product, like maybe it's not as good as the real thing, but it's still good enough to justify whatever price it's being sold at, then sure, that's fine. Then there's the brand side of the argument, like, and I'm a business owner, so I can sympathize with this one as well from the other side. And so that might suck a little bit more for sure. But at the same time, there's a lot of brands that I don't have any sympathy for on this one. I'll give you an example of one I don't care for. So I follow a football team here in Australia. Massive fan, lifelong fan, all that sort of stuff. They sell their own merchandise, of course, as every sporting team does. You're covered in sporting team merchandise right now. And like they sell a football jersey, it's the same one that the team wears on the field, all that sort of stuff. And it's like $170, right? Now, I tell you right now, that fucking thing costs $2 to make. I don't care. It doesn't have that special fabric in it, blah, blah, blah. There is nothing good about it. It's $170, right? Like, come on. If I went and produced that t-shirt and put some other brand on it, it would be like $40, $50, maybe, let's say, right? Like, why does it need to be $170? Like, I got 4 kids and I buy them all merch for this thing. Like, literally, come on. Do I care if their shit gets ripped off? Yeah, not so much.
I think I'm on the other side of that one. Like I'm 100% capitalism all the way, right? I don't care about the billionaires or tax the rich is the dumbest fucking thing I've ever heard. So these companies who have built a brand where they can charge this, good for you. If you can put a little C on a fucking bag and charge $2,000 for it, good for you. Early in my career when I was hustling, I didn't have a problem, doing this with those jerseys. And shout out to Rick. I'm sure Rick did fucking really well. We weren't doing that while working at Walmart, I'll tell you that. So, shout out to Rick for doing that. But I think I don't think I could do it.
Part of me is also like, though, I don't actually think it affects the brand as much as you might think it does. So, like, let's take Rolex for an example, right? You buy a Rolex watch, it's going to cost you $10,000. It's going to cost you maybe much more than that. You could go and buy a knockoff Rolex for sure, right? It might cost you a few $100s or less. Do you really think genuine Rolex customers who buy Rolexes for the status of having Rolexes, it's not because Rolexes are functionally that much of a better watch, right? And I know roughly how much it costs to produce a Rolex, and it's nowhere near the price they sell it for, right? Of course. Do you think the guy that wants to walk around with his buddies who also have the same amount of income or more or whatever, and he wants the Rolex so he fits in the status, do you really think that many of those people are buying the knockoff Rolex? They're not. Like, the genuine Rolex customers are not actually being diverted by $300 Rolex watches. They're not. Because the absolute shame of your friends finding out that you're wearing a knockoff Rolex watch, if that happened, would, like, destroy you, because they would all call you a cheap fuck and, like, make hideous amounts of fun of you for, like, ever. Do you know what I mean?
And Jimmy at the factory who stole the molds so that another factory can make these fake ones. There's a lot of pieces here. There's not just, I agree with you. It's not like, again, the person buying the Rolex doesn't care about the other one. I don't think Rolex probably cares about the other one, but they do probably care about the theft that happened at their factory where someone stole the mold and someone sold the, whatever timing piece. I don't know shit about Rolexes or whatever, right? So I don't know. To me, it like crosses a bar of like, I don't feel good about it, so I can't do it.
Yeah, I know. And there's the IP thing and all of that sort of stuff. I mean, you can probably reverse engineer most products without somebody at the factory stealing something at this point. But like, yeah, I don't know. I'm kind of. This is one where I'm in the middle. I'm in the middle. You know what I mean?
All right, I'll give you a little easier one. So how about I've called this category legal, but we'll call it predatory. Affiliate marketing products that you've never used. Do you have any issue with that?
Look, I've never done it. Anything that I've affiliate marketed ever, I've used at some point. Or I've at least tested it out. I don't necessarily think there's wrong with it, because it doesn't mean just because you've never used a product doesn't mean it's not a good product. Or doesn't mean that it doesn't work for people in the way it's intended to work or whatever. So I guess, no, I don't have a problem with that. The reason I've never done it is because I personally just like to make sure that that product is quality and it does do what it says and all of that sort of thing. And the only way you can really do that is by using it yourself. That's the easiest way. I mean, I suppose you could say, well, I'll go and look at that product's reviews and it's got 500 5-star reviews and I can read the comments and they're all great. Nobody's saying, oh, I bought this product and it fell apart and it's really shit. I guess you could verify that in other ways, but for me personally, and I've had little affiliate deals for lots of different products over time that I've recommended to other people. It's always just been easiest generally just to get the product and use it myself, because usually I would anyway, because I'm talking to people about affiliate things that are doing the same things that I've done. And so it just makes sense to try the products myself. But no, I guess as a best practice, you should verify that the product actually does work or is decent quality, because at the end of the day, you're not going to make any money for very long as an affiliate for a product that's just shit. You might make a little bit of money in the beginning, but it's going to dry up pretty quick when people work out it's a crap product. And then that's going to rub off on your name as well as the person who's promoting that deal. So it's probably not a good practice to do no research into a product before you affiliate market it, but the concept itself, yeah, I don't think you have to have used it to be an affiliate marketer for it.
So our word is our life, right? This is what we are. We run an audience of dropshippers on one thing. We're trying to run an audience over here on the Low Bar Pod. And so I've only done this once in my career. It was a deal with a business partner who said, if you promote my thing, we can split up. And I wanted to split up. So I promoted it. And wouldn't you know it, definitely got feedback from people who were like, that's a shit product. Oh, why were you promoting, right? I didn't hear good things about it. And that made me feel really fucking shitty. Even though it was like best for me to get out of that relationship and move on, it sucked. And I'll never do it again. So, I've got products sitting all around my desk here that I'd love for them to sponsor us, so that I could just turn this into an ad right here, right in the middle of it, and be like, actually, I use this product and it's great. But that's all I'm going to do at this point. I will not recommend something that I haven't used because, again, it only takes one bad recommendation for people to sour on you. And relationships beat algorithms, as my friend George says. So I want to build all these relationships with you, whoever's listening to this, doing yard work or walking on a treadmill or whatever you're doing right now. Like, I want you to know you can always trust me. And I made a mistake once and I'll never do it again.
I think it's such a low bar to work out if a product works or not, or is quality or not, that why wouldn't you do it anyway? Like, if you were going to affiliate market something, why wouldn't you just work out if it's decent or not? Because generally it's really easy. Like, you're not generally affiliate marketing $10,000 products. Do you know what I mean? Like, usually affiliate marketing is around things with a subscription model or some sort of recurring payment or just a lower ticket price. And so it's generally very easy to test them out yourself. But also think about as well, like, sometimes if you're approaching somebody and there's an affiliate deal, like, you reach out to them and say, hey, can I test your product? Like, particularly if it's like a digital product or something, can I get a free month subscription just to try it out to see if, so I can be a good affiliate for it? Oftentimes you'll get that.
But it's not uncommon, right? How many people reach out to Dropship Breakthrough and say, hey, can I be an affiliate, right? They sign up for our affiliate program. They've never been in our course. They've never asked to be in our course. Yep. They just think they can, run an ad or rank something, best dropshipping course, and they can put us number one and they can make affiliate sales or something like that. So it's not an uncommon practice, I would say.
No, I mean, that's right. It's definitely not. I mean, I'd say probably 80% of the people we ask to be affiliates for us have never been. We have some students who are and all of that sort of thing, but the majority of them, no. They've never been in, and they don't ask to even, like, if some of them said, can I have a look inside the course for a few days just to check it out and see if it's good? I'd probably say, yeah, hell yeah, I'll give you a login for a couple of days. Sure, go and have a look. But they don't ask.
Here come all the freebies, John. You just opened up something. All right, easy one for you. Maybe we should do a whole show on MLMs, because I have some mixed feelings about MLMs, good and bad, right? But how do you feel about being the MLM at the top? You're the one making the money. And Claude wrote this "everyone below suffers" part. I'm not sure about that, but you're the one at the top, right? You're at the top of the pyramid, right? You're going back to what I've been watching lately. You're Tony Soprano, right? You're the boss. You've got your captains, you've got your people working under you, and you're taking a cut of everybody's sales. You good with that?
This is a grey one for me. I think it's an "it depends" answer for me. MLMs can certainly be predatory. They can certainly be not predatory. So it depends. It depends on how it runs, how it's run. If you're at the top, if you're also like helping people who are below you in some way to do better for themselves and actually get an outcome for themselves, then no. I mean, if everybody's happy, then no, I don't mind taking a cut. But if like people, as a thing here says, everybody below you suffers, then yeah, I have a problem with that.
Yeah, I feel mixed. I know that there are good MLMs out there. I know they are, right? First off, they're all in Utah. I don't know how that works, but they're all in Utah. There are some good ones out there, but I met my wife, and at the time she was part of a clothing one where she'd like put on different clothes and sell on live stuff, which my wife, that does not seem like my wife at all, does it? So she's online, putting on clothes and showing off this stuff, and people are buying it. And, that company had some predatory practices. There's since been a documentary about them. She watches every MLM documentary and then tells me the story of her MLM. And just so I've heard only the bad, but there has to be good ones out there, right? There has to be ones that are decent out there. It's basically affiliate marketing. You're recruiting somebody else to affiliate marketing. You get a little, it's like, I don't know what they call it when you're an affiliate marketer and then you have a sub affiliate marketer. I can't remember what they call that, but there's got to be people doing this right. So I think, it depends for me too. If you're doing it right, I have no issue with this. If you're doing it, the sketchy way that I've definitely seen in documentaries, I'm out.
Yeah, I mean, I don't really like the business model, at least in the examples I've seen of it. And I'm happy for somebody to show me a really great one and completely prove me wrong. I just don't think it's I kind of get it, but I really don't. Like, if you were going to go and do that, just go and do it for yourself. But like at the same time, I guess that's hard for some people to start their own business, or harder. I mean, I'd love to look at some great examples of this particular business model. I'd love to see what a great one really looks like and how it works out for all of the people involved.
Are you familiar with CoffeeZilla?
Not. I mean, obviously, I've heard the name, and broadly speaking, I'm familiar, but not super familiar. No.
I feel like the moment we start doing research to try to find the good companies, we're only going to find the shit ones, and it's going to turn into a CoffeeZilla episode, and we're going to have people coming on and telling their sob stories. And like, I don't know if we should deep dive on that one or not.
No, but I genuinely like to hear if somebody thinks I don't want to hear about the bad ones. I can find you bad ones right now. Like, I've heard of bad ones, for sure. I like, if somebody out there genuinely thinks there's a good one and they're not the person who's at the top of that, if there's somebody out there who's part of an MLM and they're further down the chain, and you think it's great for you, I mean, I'd love to hear about it. I'm not saying we're going to put it on the show. I'd just love to hear about it.
All right, last one. This one to me is the ickiest of them all to me. I drive by this place quite often in my little town. I don't even know if you have them in Australia. If you do, great. They are very common around here. Totally legal, but fucked up, is payday loans and like predatory lending, right? Like, we'll give you the money until your check comes in. We'll give it to you at 40%. They are everywhere. In fact, the one that is up the road from me right now says, get money for school supplies. Like, that shit's fucked up to me. There has to be a better way to help these people than prey on them. And so it's an absolute no for me. And I'm genuinely curious if this is something you could do.
No, I couldn't do it. Definitely not.
I'm trying to picture the people who own these places who, like, how do you sleep at night?
Yeah, I mean, look,
like, justify, steel man the other side for me, John. You're pretty good at that.
I try and put myself in, play devil's advocate with myself on this. I suppose the argument is, well, sometimes people are in just dire situations and there's no other option for them to get money, and so we help them with that by giving them access to cash at a time when they desperately need it. Like, they're going to get evicted from their house tomorrow unless they pay the rent today, and they can't get the money any other way. So we give them the money and they go and pay their rent and they can stay in their house for another week. The problem is, of course, that's just kicking the can down the road. It's not actually fixing them. It's not really helping them because, yes, you're going to charge some interest on that. And they've still got to pay back the full amount. So they're paying you back more than they actually borrowed. And then why would their situation be any different next payday? And then no doubt if they don't cough up on time, you're going to fucking chase them like a, rabid dog, as I'm sure most of these scumbags do. Or you're going to send some big, fat, muscly men around to hassle them or something until they pay. So
look, as a libertarian and a capitalist, I also kind of want to tell you, do whatever the fuck you want to do, right? Like, if you're dumb enough to go take this loan, you're dumb enough to suffer the consequences. And so I really struggle with some of this stuff. You and I have had conversations about this for a while, right? Australia banned vaping. And I was like, if people want to vape, fucking vape. Like, you know what I mean? Like, I'm sure we could go down a whole rabbit hole of all of these questions, but like, this is another one for me where zero chance I'm doing it. Zero. I would not do this, but I also I'd probably defend your right to do it.
Yeah. I know, and I know you guys are big on that stuff over there.
My freedoms, John. My
You got a
freedoms.
right to do everything. Yeah, how's that made your lives any better? Oh, it hasn't. I mean, you can do it here in Australia as well. Like these businesses exist in Australia too. I mean, it's not like it's legal here as well, I think. Yeah, I don't know. Is there a better way to do it would be my question. Or is there something else that could be done instead of that? Because like I'm sure there is. There is a creative way that you could run a business that helps people, and maybe they already exist and I'm just completely ignorant of the fact, that helps people who are in a genuinely dire situation financially, that is actually a business as well, but it's more of a win-win scenario rather than what I'm guessing is genuinely often going to be a win-lose scenario.
You have to assume the market has sniffed this out, right? The fact that they charge what they charge is because they have to charge what they charge, right? You have to assume the market is the market here, and they're not necessarily trying to be predatory, but there are so many defaults on these loans, they have to have an APR or a fee at that rate in order to make sure they don't lose money, right? Like you and I run businesses. You know, there's not many businesses out there, if any at all, who are just raking in dough and just rolling everybody over the coals, right? Most businesses operate on slim margins. I have to assume this is also one of those. So yeah, if I had to steel man the other side, I would have to say, the market is the market is setting this rate. If somebody was willing to give them a better rate or help them in some other way, it would exist already. Maybe it does. Again, maybe both of us are ignorant.
Yeah, I'd say I'm probably out on it. Yeah. I can make the arguments. I can make the arguments for either side for sure, and I understand them, but I wouldn't do it. No, it's not the business I would run for sure.
All right, I know there's people who are listening to this who have very strong feelings on either side of one of these. Please leave them in the comments. Tell us what you think on any of these. I'll make sure I put a little jump link to every single one so you can jump around to them. Did we miss something? Is there something we should have reacted to? I don't have an issue doing another one of these. I love throwing shit at John and watching him somehow bob and weave and give you a very thoughtful answer rather than reacting. So if we miss something, tell us about it. Put it in the comments in YouTube. Put it in, comment on Spotify or wherever you can contact us. We'd love to hear from you.